amplifying the positive emotions and the emotions you want her to feel more, which allows her to feel an intense sort of connection with you. So, how do you meet her at her current emotional state? I heard an analogy recently from Eben Pagan that I think is a real easy, simple mindset to keep in mind, and it's a little funny, but it'll work, and that goes like this. Think about when you're meeting a dog for the first time, and how to become friends with a dog that you meet quickly. Well, how you do this is you meet the dog where the dog's at. So, if you meet a dog and the dog's wagging its tail and it's happy and it wants to play, you play with it. If the dog is kind of standoffish and timid and he kind of creeps around, you kind of you meet him at that same state. You kind of creep around and pet him a little bit and then back off. And what you're doing there is you're showing them that you're at the same state it is at. Now, on the other hand, if you meet a dog and he's barking loudly at you, you do the same thing back to him. Maybe you don't bark, but you get a little rowdy and you get high energy. And the dog kind of looks at you and he knows that you guys are on the same level, and soon enough he's rolling on his belly and you're petting it. Well, you got to look at women the same way. Keep that mindset when you're meeting a woman. When you meet her, see within a split second what emotional state she's at. Is she laughing with all her good friends, looking to be in a playful sort of mood? Is she a little standoffish? Is she a little timid when you come up? Is she mean? Is she bitchy? A lot of guys, when a woman's mean or bitchy, they try to counter it with being nice or funny, but the woman's being bitchy. Meet her at that state. If a woman goes, oh God, another guy trying to talk to me, just look at her and go, oh God, another girl who thinks she's too good for me to talk to her. You do it a little bit more playful than she's at, but you're meeting her at that state. And that allows rapport to happen a lot quicker than if, let's say, the woman was sort of sitting there real low energy and quiet, and you came in all loud. You just throw off, and the energy's going to clash, and you guys are not going to have rapport together. So that's step one. Step two is to amplify the emotions that you want to bring out of her more. So let's say that the woman's telling you that she was at a concert last week. She was at the Beyonce concert, and she's like, oh my God, the Beyonce concert was so good. At that point, there's a three-step process you want to go to. First thing you want to do is you want to acknowledge it. You want to say, oh God, that's great, you know. Most guys, they'll immediately start telling her about a concert that they went to and how good it was. But you don't want to do that. You want to instead do what I'm about to tell you. You acknowledge the state by saying, oh God, that's great, cool, how cool, you know, whatever. Then what you do is you ask her a question to bring her back. So you say, what was the best song she played? So now the woman goes into her mind and she comes back and she goes, oh, Crazy for You. And you go, oh yeah, that's awesome, cool song. What was so good about it? Was the crowd going like crazy during it? Or was Beyonce just going crazy? And now she goes back in again, and now she's searching her mind to like remember exactly what was going on during that song that made her enjoy it so much. So now when she comes back, now you just elevated her from having a good time at the concert to really bringing out the emotions that she was feeling at that concert. And why this works so much is that what you're looking to do in a conversation with a woman is kind of sort of create a roller coaster of emotions. You don't want to constantly be amplifying. You want to amplify the good ones, then let it settle down. Then when you see something else that you see in her eyes that she likes talking about, amplify that again. And what this does is later on, when the woman's no longer with you and she's thinking back about it, she's remembering these like emotional states she was going throughout that conversation. And even though a lot of it had to do with what you were bringing out of her own experiences, she's connecting them to you. So that is why you want to be amplifying a woman's emotions. Remember, it's a three-step process. First thing you do is acknowledge it, then you ask a question that brings a little bit more out of it, and then you bring her back in to get an even further explanation to the question.